Hi, my name is Halie Joe and welcome to this week's practice. Due to a shoulder injury, as you can see, I'm going to be doing verbal only cues probably for the next few weeks. So there's plenty of videos on the Rex YouTube channel that have the instructor moving through the whole practice. So just a warning that I will be doing verbal only cues. But hopefully it should be easy enough for you to follow along, and maybe it would be a good challenge to just focus on the verbals instead of feeling like you need to be looking at me to follow along. I won't be playing any music, but I will be going through some breathing and meditation exercises. So if you want to put on some soft music in the background, that would probably be perfect. And let's see, we will be using one block today. Again, I won't be demonstrating, but I'm going to be using as many verbal cues as I can to help you get through this practice smoothly. All right, let's get started. I'm going to start in a seated position. Legs can be crossed. Hands will be up or down on the knees. Just let the eyes close. Take a few moments to arrive on your mat. Maybe move some love out from under the sits bones so you can really ground into the mat, into the earth. Acknowledge the breath without changing it. Just be as you are. Come with whatever stressors, burdens, anxieties you may be feeling in this moment. Breathe it all out. You may notice things start to trickle into the mind. Just acknowledge them. Let them pass. Those things are still there when your practice is over. They're probably important. And it's for the best. If they're not there, maybe that's for the best too. If you'd like to set an intention for your practice today, go ahead and do that now. If you've never set an intention before, I challenge you to do so. Whether it's focus on the breath, to be mindful of a certain part of the body, and breathe into that intention. Hold it close to your heart and exhale it out. I'm going to walk through the Dirga Pranayama breath with a belly breath. If you'd like to follow along, place your right hands on your belly. Breathe in through the nose, inflate the belly into the breath, into the hands. Hold it at the top, one sip of air. And exhale out the mouth. Again, breathe in through the nose, inflate the belly into the hands, this time inflating the ribs. 2 sips of air at the top. And let it pour out the mouth. Again, breathe in through the nose, inflate the belly, the ribs, this time the chest. 2 sips of air at the top. And exhale. Don't be afraid to have that audible exhale. Really hear yourself breathing out the worry, the stress. Breathing in through the nose, inflating the belly, 1, ribs 2, chest 3, sip of air. And exhale 3, 2, 1. We're going to move through this a few more times. Inhaling 1, 2, 3. Hold it. Exhale, 3, 2, 1. Move through this breath 3 more times at your own pace. You can return your hand to your knee if that's more comfortable for you. Really envisioning that breath pulling up through the abdomen, filling the belly, and exhale. Acknowledge how it feels in the lungs, in the nose, in the mouth. You'd be amazed by the things you really notice about what you're doing when you concentrate your mind on those micro movements such as the breath and exhale and inhale. This Dirga Pranayama is really good to settle the breath, to calm the mind, to calm jitters. Something you can return to if you're feeling overwhelmed, feeling a sense of anxiety overcoming you. Last breath here. Beautiful. Without opening the eyes, drop the chin down to the chest. All the way. Again, I won't be doing this, but be verbally cueing you through it. And on your inhale, you're going to slowly inhale and roll your right ear up to your right shoulder. Very, very slowly. And exhale the chin back down to the chest. And inhale up to the left. If you feel like you're hiking the shoulders up to meet the ears, go ahead and actively relax the shoulders. They don't have to touch. And exhale back to center. Inhale right. Exhale center. Inhale left. And exhale center. Move through this 3 more times at your own pace, always moving up on your inhale and down on your exhale. Beautiful. When you're finished, you can let your eyes take on some light. Wish I could see you all. We're going to place the palms out in front of us, fingers spread out nice and wide, beginning to roll over the knees or finding your way into a tabletop position. Shoulders are directly above the wrists, hips are directly above the knees, spine is nice and neutral. On your inhale, you're going to drop the belly, bring your gaze to the ceiling, cow pose. And exhale, push the earth away, curve the spine, tuck the navel, gaze will go to your thighs, cat's pose. Inhale, sweeping the heart forward, cow. And exhale, cats. Inhale. And exhale. Last time, inhale into cow, maybe finding some movement here in the hips, in the belly, in the spine. And exhale, cat. Again, finding some movement, wiggling through the body, getting any creaks out, getting ready to move a bit more. And we'll inhale back to a neutral spine. Beautiful. We're going to walk the knees out to the outer edges of the mat, so knees will be much wider than the hips, bringing the big toes together. You're going to sink into a child's pose, so chest will come all the way down to the mat. Arms will be out in front, and you can bring either cheek or your forehead to the mat. Let the eyes close, the breath soften. Just take a scan of the body. Really, the biggest difference between restorative and relaxation yoga is the ability to really get into that breath-body connection, the mind-body connection, focusing less on the poses we sit in for 1 to 2 breaths and more on the deep stretches we can really breathe into for an extended period of time. Poses like this one. Maybe with each exhale you feel your hips sinking a little bit deeper, closer to the mat, maybe walking the knees closer together if that feels more comfortable for you. 2 more breaths here. On your next breath, if your head is turned to one side, bring it back to center. We're going to inhale, reach the fingers out as far as you can in front of you. Crawl them towards the front of the room you're in and stay for the exhale. Really feeling that deep stretch in the side bodies and in the hips. On your next inhale, we're going to walk the fingertips over to the right corner of your mat. And exhale, melts into the right hip crease. Inhale back to center. Stay for the exhale. And inhale, walk the fingertips to the left corner of the mat. Exhale, breathing into that left hip. Inhale back to center. Deep exhale out the mouth. We'll do 2 more cycles to each side, following your inhale out to each corner, your exhale back to center. Going as quickly or as slowly as you'd like. One more to each side. When you're finished, we're gonna shift forward back into a tabletop position and bring the knees back below the hips. We're back in a nice, stable tabletop. You're going to ground into the mat with your left palm. And inhale the right hand up to the sky. Reach the fingertips for the ceiling. And exhale, thread the arm through underneath that left armpit. Right shoulder and head will come down to the mat. Feel free to maybe find some movement, massaging that shoulder muscle in the right arm, that delt. Option to come onto the fingertips of the left hand for some help with balancing. Check in with the breath. Are you breathing through this movement, through this hold? Option to stay here. If you'd like a little more, go ahead and extend the left fingertips up to the sky. Your gaze will follow. 3 more breaths wherever you're at. Last breath. On your exhale, returning that left hand down to the mat if it is extended. We're going to ground with the left palm, unwind, inhale the right fingertips up, really opening the heart towards the ceiling, and exhale the right palm back down. I'm going to move through the same pose on the other side. So grounding with that right palm into the mat, extending the left hand up to the sky, reaching for the ceiling, and exhale, thread the left arm through right under that right armpit. Shoulder and head will come down to the mat. Again, using those right fingertips for balance. Maybe massaging the shoulder, making some circles. If you'd like a little more, really grounding with that left shoulder, go ahead and extend the right fingertips up to the sky. Your gaze will follow. Testing the balance a bit here, testing for that core and chest strength. 2 more breaths. Last breath, inhale. And exhale through the mouth. Right arm will come back to the mat, grounding with that palm. Unwind, left arm reaches up to the sky, opening the heart towards the ceiling. And exhale that palm back down. Beautiful. We're gonna start in our tabletop position, making sure that everyone is there. We're going to walk the hands 1 palm print forward on your mat. Tuck the toes and float your hips to the sky for a downward dog. Fingers are spread out nice and wide so you can ground through all 10 points of the hands. We're actively pushing the mat away like we're trying to magnet our chest onto the top of our thighs. It's okay to have some bend in those knees, and heels may not touch the mat. Mine certainly do not. But maybe with each exhale, we sink those heels a little bit closer to the mat. Be here for 2 breaths. Maybe pedal out the feet, wiggle the hips. Your next inhale, come onto the toes and find your way to the middle or top of your mat, forward folds. So feet are planted firmly on the mat, big toes are together, or feet are hips width apart. Upper body is just hanging heavy into those thighs, into those knees. Arms are hanging below. You can cross them on the back. Make sure that you are completely surrendering the head to gravity. Don't feel like you need to hold the head up at all. Completely let it hang down by the knees. This will create some space in the tiny discs at the top of the spine that hold our heads up all day long. 2 deep breaths here. On your next inhale, we're going to halfway lift, bringing your hands to your shins. Spine will be nice and flat, parallel to your mat. Gaze is directly below you. You're making a nice, strong, straight line from the tailbone all the way through the top of your head. And exhale, folds. Again, hanging heavy, taking some of that pressure off the lower back. And again, inhale, halfway lift, bringing the hands to the shins. And exhale, folds. On your next inhale, we're going to roll 1 vertebra at a time all the way up to standing. Head will come last. We're rolling at the belly, at the upper back. Again, then the head will pop up last. We're standing nice and tall. We're going to inhale, windmill the arms up above the head. Hands will clasp and meet together in prayer hands, and exhale them down through the heart center. We're going to bend the knees and fold right back in to a forward fold. Plant those hands and step back into a downward dog. Get a drink of water if you need one. If not, pedal out the feet. Take a grounding breath here. Good, we're gonna drop to the knees, cross them, and find your way into a seated position about halfway down your mat, because we will be going down onto our backs soon. So we're still sitting up nice and tall. Sits bones are firmly planted into the mat. And we're going to bring the bottoms of our feet together. Knees are pointed out to the sides, coming into a butterfly pose. The closer the feet are to your pelvis, the more balance you may feel. The further out will be a completely different stretch, so play around with that. Again, we really want to be nice and tall, scooping that lower back in, extending through the crown of the head. Hands can be at your heart center. Really breathing into this seated stretch, feeling connected with our mats, connected with the earth. 3 more breaths to play around with this. If you would like a little bit more, go ahead and interlace the fingers like so and slide them beneath the toes and the upper part of the foot. And you can activate your core and lift up. Feet will come off the ground and you'll be balancing on your sits bones. Just a little bit of fun with balancing here. Again, trying to keep our breath nice and stable, counting those 3 steps in through the nose and then back out through the mouth. 2 more breaths to play here. Good, go ahead and release the feet, release the hands if you are balancing. We're gonna bring the knees gently together, and we're gonna grab our block or any prop if you have one. If you don't have one, that's totally fine. If you do have one, we're gonna bend the knees and place the feet firmly on the mat. Kind of the form you would be in if you were hugging your knees into the chest, but feet will be further out in front of you. Grab your block, extend your arms out in front, holding the block. And we're gonna slowly, one vertebra at a time, roll down onto our backs. Again, if you don't have a prop, it's totally fine. Once you are there, you're gonna walk the feet in closer to the sits bones, almost so you can brush the ankles with your fingertips. Once you are there, we're gonna activate the core, activate those glutes. We're gonna lift the hips up towards the ceiling. We're gonna slide our block beneath the sacrum or the lowest point of the spine for a supported bridge. You might need to move it around here. It should feel pretty good. If it causes any tweaking or pain in the back, I would try moving it around, and if you can't get it to a place that feels comfortable, go ahead and remove it. You don't need to use it by any means. It's something that we use to create more space in the back and in the belly. Hands can be on the belly, by the sides, above the head, whatever feels good. Eyes can close. Really breathing in the air from the room, engaging the belly. And exhale out the mouth. Last breath here. On your next inhale, we'll lift the hips up and remove our block. We're going to bring the knees into the chest, give them a nice squeeze. We're going to extend our arms out to a T, or you can bend at the elbows, bringing a goalpost shape to the arms, and we're going to let the knees fall in sync with one another to the right side of the body. 3 breaths here. Beautiful. On your next inhale, we're going to guide the knees back to center. We're going to let them fall through the center of the body and over to the left. 3 breaths on this side. Great. On your next inhale, we're going to bring the knees back to center. Give them a nice tight squeeze. Squeeze everything in the body. Knees are close to the chest, maybe rolling around a bit. And exhale, extend the arms and legs out long. We're going to come onto the back and get ready for our final pose of the day. Toes will fall out to the sides. Eyes will close. Relax the jaw. Let the tongue fall from the roof of the mouth. Let the breath soften. Give yourself permission to find complete stillness. Shavasana. You feel those thoughts starting to trickle in, just let them pass. If they're important, they'll still be there when you're finished. If they're not, maybe it's for the best. your schedule allows it, I challenge you to remain here in Shavasana for as long as you can, sitting with that silence, that stillness, because you deserve it. But if you'd like to finish the practice with me, begin to wiggle the fingers and the toes, inviting tiny movements back into the body, deepening the breath. If it's not already, extend the right or left arm long above the head and roll into a ball on that side of the body. Grounding breath here. And then using your hands and as little effort as possible, meet me in a seated position where we begin our practice today. Eyes will remain closed. Hands will be together at heart center, pressing the thumbs to the sternum. I'm so grateful that you chose to share your practice with me today. Amidst this crazy time and uncertainty in all of our lives, this is one thing we can always come back to. I have so much gratitude for the time that we spent together today. I hope to see you again soon. Namaste. Again, thank you so much for watching this video and sharing your practice with me. If you have any questions, feel free to comment in this comment sections. I think that's it. Again, my name is Halie Jo, and I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day. Bye.